Good afternoon, Jason with Off the Shelf Workshop here. It's been some time since I've updated you on any of my progress on Kendall's build here. Weather has been kind of funny here in Washington State. I was actually able to get outside and work in the yard a little bit on this holiday weekend. But today, not so much. So I thought I'd get down here and put together this video for you to see where my progress has been on the Kindle's build. So I hope you enjoy it. Hopefully this will be shortened up a little bit. If you have any questions, comments, please feel free to put those in the comment section, and I look forward to hearing from you. Okay, here's the urethane casting that's been painted and the brass inserts installed as well. All right, now we're dry fitting the first two walls. Corner trim still needs to be installed, but we're ready to build. Now, fast forward, we have walls installed along with the roof and the cornices installed. And now we're starting the wall for the stair enclosure here. And stair enclosure done, and roofing material is on. The bag there was the correct size chipboard and another missing part that was actually missing from the kit. So pop that out, sitting here making sure that's the piece that goes in there. Gonna cut that out, and we will install the chipboard onto the roof. And sped this up a little bit for you, and the roof is installed. All right, now moving on to the covered stair. You have to put some 2x8s for the roof support. This is what I'll be installing here. You can see I have the upper piece, and I'm going to turn it out a frame, because I'm such a professional, to measure that out. And so looking that out, there we go, get it back in frame there, and there's where that's roof support will have to go. Now we want to make it so it kind of slopes away from the building. So the idea being, if there were rainfall, then the water moves away from the main structure. All right, so now I got the support in place, and next we will be moving on to installing the chipboard. And here's some of my stellar camera work again. But me sizing it up, making sure I got that in the right spot. So we make sure there's no gaps. All right, got the chipboard out, and there's the piece. Of course, my blade falls out, and got to tighten that back up. And we're gonna make the cuts to get that chipboard out of there. And then there's the two pieces for the stairwell. And then we test fit everything, and then we glue into place. Now with the chipboard installed, it is time to move on to the tar paper roof. This is the construction paper that came with the kit. It will have the lines on the back so that you have an edge to cut. I spray painted it black as the instructions stated. So I moved the camera around here so you can see what I'm doing. And I just cut along those lines, and then I'll have extra paper, and we'll get to roofing. All right, then we get these pieces cut out, and then first order of business is to get the top of the cornice here tar papered up. So I'm just using a glue stick and smearing the glue on there, get it set up there. I'll make my trim cuts. After that, once the glue dries, I'll come back with my X-Acto knife and trim it so it matches that edging. And here I'm just coming back with my X-Acto knife and making those trim cuts. All right, the top trim is a 4x12 that's been painted white. It is glued in place on top of the parapet, which should align with the outside of the wall below the parapet. All right, so I have the tar paper installed. It's pretty shiny, but I'll come back with chalks and tone all that down a bit. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to now install that trim piece that goes over the top of the parapet that will align with those outside walls there. And here's the process sped up for you, installing that parapet piece. All right. There it is so far. What have I gotten done? So we got the stairwell put on. We got the tar paper put on and weathered. And then we got the additional buildings installed. And this is just a plain wall because what will happen is our mill will be going. There'll be we have a blank here to fill in for this right there. This will extend like that. And so we have a little bit, so it's going to be a good size footprint here once we get moving on this mill here, which I'm hoping to have completed by this weekend. So we got the rafter tails installed right here, there, along the back, rafter tails. So now the next part of the process is going to be the porch. So we're going to have this area, bring the model back in, that will go around here and it will wrap around to these additional buildings on this side. So this is just chipboard. We're going to be gluing some base wood on there as well. Remember to keep those under weight until it's attached to the building. So there's going to be some challenges there. But I'm really liking how this is turning out so far. It's going to be a nice addition to the layout. So, all right. Okay, so we're gonna work on this porch. We have to think of it as two things. It's a porch with a ceiling for the first floor and a floor for the second floor. And you have to really pay attention to the instructions and how this is going to get set up. So we look at this and it says view from underneath. So you got to think about that as you're looking down, you're actually looking up to the ceiling. This is going to be the ceiling of the first floor. And then this will be the floor of the porch on the second floor. And it's got the scribed wood. I don't know if you can see that at all. So we want to make sure that is facing down. And so I look at this. So I have my E2, my E3, my E4, and I know that this is supposed to line up here, and we'll have an overhang. And so then this E2, which is the ceiling, is going to set, and we're going to glue this like that, making sure that we have an overhang. Let's get this over here. That we have an overhang on this edge and on this edge. So on these 3 of the 5 edges, 1, 2, 3, and this is 4 and 5, which will be against the building. So we'll go ahead and glue this up now. That's it. We'll just keep the weight on those, let that dry up, and we'll get moving on to our other pieces. Okay, in this part, we are going to get ready to do prep the floor and ceiling. So we used card number 8, excuse me, and looked at photo number 64 in the instruction manual. And so we've glued E3, E4, E2, and we weighted them down. Then once those were weighted down, we finished the floor and ceiling. But the ceiling part wouldn't really be seen, but we did want to put some 2x6 under there. So we took 2x6s and painted them white and applied it to the exposed edge of E1 and E2. And we also put some 2x12s on the edging just to kind of give it a finished look. But remember, it's not going to be really seen here. So I didn't film myself putting the porch together or these side buildings, but here's a photo of that. And then I didn't do a video of putting this post and porch together. And now moving on to the mill portion, and we will start doing the roof. Here's the Prismacolor Premier art markers I use. They're cool gray. I will be using these for the roof section, and I use anywhere from the 10 to the 50% gray. All right, so using those markers, I just start with, I believe this is the 10% color, and I'll just randomly select 3 to 4 shingles and just randomly start coloring those in. Now, this does take some time because we use 5 different markers. I also use the fine point. These pins come with a chisel tip that's a fatter side, and also the fine point. And as you can see here, I'm just randomly choosing those shingles that I want to color. And this does go in or go on darker, and it does lighten up. Here I am just showing you that fine point and the color I chose. I might have been the 40%. But yeah, and I'll just do this, and then when I'm satisfied, I'll go on and choose my next percentage of gray. And so after some time, your roofing material starts to look like this. I really do like how um, this roofing material turned out. I like the fact that you don't have to cut it or anything. You just color it, and then you can apply it to your structure. I really, really enjoyed these. And here is the roofing material applied to the mill. I do realize that I don't have a lot of video of me putting the mill portion together, but I figured if you're this far into the build that you already know how to do most of this. If you have any questions, comments, please feel free to reach out. All right, I hope you enjoyed that update on our Kendall's build, kit number 300. We're making some really good progress on that. On the next video, we'll work on the dormer for the mill portion, and then we'll work on the stucco shed, which I've already got braced up here and the exposed brick painted. But we'll get this worked on and attached to our mill, and then we will work on the foundry. And hopefully there won't be as much time in between our videos. So thanks again for joining me here at Off the Shelf Workshop, where we have plenty of kits on the shelf that we want to get down here onto the workbench. And I want to bring all those to you. If there's a particular kit that you like to see constructed, let me know down in the comments. And again, thanks for joining me here at Off the Shelf Workshop. Until next time, I'm Jason. Have a good weekend.